What's going on, everybody? My name is Tech, and if it's your first time to the channel, I was the #1 seller of pre-owned men's clothing on eBay for 15 years. Now I do a wholesale business. We send about 4,000 pieces out. I like to come to you on Thursdays with these videos that are nice and quick, to the point of a thought that I'm thinking about that maybe can help you and your business. On Monday, we do the flea market world domination videos, which, speaking of that, Phoenix Resale on his channel, he has a pretty large channel, about 500,000 subscribers. He followed me, came down here for a weekend to sunny South Florida where inventory rains from the sky. And he did kind of like a documentary style behind the scenes of what it really takes to operate at the highest level. So definitely check out that video. It's his newest videos. I think it's very insightful. He did a really good job of illustrating the hustle, exactly what it takes, and it was good to see it from an alternative perspective. So definitely check that one out. On Wednesday nights, I do the live Q&A, answer hundreds of questions until the cows come home. It's underneath the live tab. And then on Friday, of course, we have the podcast where we dive deep into subjects more in depth. But today I like to come with a thought. So the title of this video is Reselling is on life support. So like a lot of people say, reselling is dead. It's not dead, it's just changing. And when things change, we have to be 5 or 10 years ahead of the change. And for me, I've made a large amount of my money on eBay reselling just by being 5 or 10 years ahead. So what a lot of people are doing now, finding success with now, I was doing 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I was ahead of the curve, and things are changing. What used to work doesn't work. Once upon a time, you could just list anything, throw it against the wall, and eventually it would sell. I don't think it's the case anymore. Once upon a time, you could just throw up any kind of listings that you wanted, and eventually they would sell. I think that the market has gotten better. Sellers have gotten better. People are learning title structure. People are doing optimized keywords. People are marketing their items to who they're supposed to be marketed to and converting at a much higher level. People have a fundamental understanding of who their customer is. People understand buying items that do have demand, which brings me to the point of talking about sell-through. Sell-through can have a negative connotation to some people. Sell-through can be a dirty word or a bad word, but the only thing sell-through means is, do people actually want your stuff? That's what it means. And if you are anti-sell-through, if you are anti all of that, that's fine. Ask yourself, do people actually want my items? And if they do, pick them up. If they do not, leave them at the store. And there's a lot of very, very smart people that try to pick up items that have a very low sell-through and try to outsmart having not good items. And if that's your business policy and that's what you want to do, that's great, no problem. I'm not that smart. So I just pick up great items that are highly in demand, that people want, and I list them on eBay and let the item do the work. I don't have to do the work. So all this revising, fixing, delisting, relisting, putting lipstick on a pig, going back, fixing stuff, all of that kind of stuff, I skip. I don't have to do it because I let the item do the work. I do not have to do a bunch of extracurricular activities to try to sell items that nobody wants, to try to outsmart the algorithm by listing subpar, sub-quality items, because the only business model that does not work is low volume, low margin. So if you have very small profits and you sell a lot of items, that works. If you have very small profit and you don't sell a lot of items, that doesn't work. So we need to evaluate the items that we're picking up and make sure that they have velocity, make sure that they have demand. If you are the only person in the entire world that wants this item, that's a bad purchase because you cannot buy and sell your own items on eBay. So we have to make sure that the item has some velocity built in, some sell-through built in, some demand built in. And if you want to outsmart sell-through, no problem, go ahead. But that doesn't work. So what sell-through really means is, do people actually want your items? And if your items are not selling, you're in a slump and things are slow, then the answer is people don't want your items. Because if you had a whole store full of iPhones, you would not be complaining that sales are slow. I have talked to thousands of resellers. I have never talked to the reseller that has iPhones and they come on and complain that sales are slow. If you have highly desirable items, items that are in demand, That's half the battle. That is a humongous advantage. And if you watch my videos, I go to the ends of the earth, as many places as I have to go to find the desirable items that people actually want, and just put the items to work after that. My job is done. And it doesn't matter what you pay, if you're paying $1, if you're getting them for free, if you're just paying a couple of dollars, it doesn't matter. We have to have the discipline to only pick up the good stuff. Do not fall into the trap where if you go to the bins or if you can get stuff low cost to pick it up, you are suffocating your store, you are suffocating your business. Even at a cheap price, a giveaway price, we only have to take the good ones that are highly in demand and highly desired. If enough people wanted your items, you would not be having slow sales. Slow sales is a direct correlation with how desirable your items are. And reselling is changing, it's evolving. It's changed and evolved hundreds of times since I started 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I used to have to send tracking numbers by smoke signal. 15 years ago, I used to have to ship my packages on pack mules. 15 years ago, I used to have to take a chisel and do my pictures and listings on tablets, stone tablets. So things change. And those folks that did not evolve are out of business. The folks that refuse to change, refuse to accept that the bar has been risen and the bar will raise, will go by the wayside and they will go out of business. And the next 5 years of reselling, I will scream it from the mountaintops as long as it takes to do. The next 5 years of reselling will have dramatic changes that if we do not implement these into our business, year 5 through 10 will have devastating results. There are a lot of AI, there are a lot of apps, there are a lot of companies, there are a lot of softwares that will start entering the space. We have 3 years to get to know these softwares, to learn these softwares, to partner with these softwares inside of our business, because year 5 to year 10, year 5, everyone is gonna start implementing this, and if you're behind the curve, you're gonna be at a severe disadvantage. 10 years from now, there will be humongous, mega corporate resellers who are pumping out listings 24 hours a day, 365 days a week, and they are gonna totally crush the market. And the ones that will win are the ones that have learned how to saddle up with these programs, streamline their processes, have good in-person relationships, because online sourcing is going to become a nightmare due to all of the softwares. The good stuff's going to get snatched up. I would not be surprised if we see Goodwill move into online only in 10 or 15 years. They abandon the brick and mortar entirely, and they use softwares and they deploy all of their employees in package fulfillment and use software to list all of their items. They don't need brick and mortar stores. They can get all the money, or they can list at such velocity where they can just get some of the money all of the time. So this business will continue even more to be an acquisition and relationship business. And I've been talking about this for months, and if people don't want to listen, that's fine. You can go back 5 years ago and listen to the podcast, and everything that I talked about 5 years ago, that I received the most negative vitriol comments 5 years ago about how the landscape is going to change. Those people that were talking so negatively about how wrong it was are out of business. They're sitting on the sideline. They're sitting on the bleachers. So you can heed the advice. I will scream it from the mountaintops. And those that listen, I hope that they're in a better position. But this will happen. It is a guarantee. These softwares are going to take a lot of people out of business. The low-hanging fruit is going to be gone. Thrift stores, the prices are going to continue to go up because now they have access to the software. And in-person relationships, whether it be a flea market, whether it be an estate sale, whether it be an auction house, this is how we're going to have to get the items. And this business is going to turn into much more of an acquisition business. Since it will turn into an acquisition business, that's why I am positioning myself now 5 or 10 years ahead in acquiring and producing product. I want to get to the point where I am capable of getting 25,000 pieces per day. Today we're only at 4,000 pieces, but we will get there because I believe so strongly that the acquisition business is going to play a humongous part in reselling going forward. Once people are able to process and facilitate more items, they are going to need more items to source. Inside of the group, I am starting an AI call coming up, And it's not something that I have to do. No one's gonna leave the group because I don't have an AI call. But I feel so strongly about how AI and these programs are going to change the game that I am investing this money into providing this call so that way everybody inside of the group can be ahead of the curve. Because the first one to market, the first ones that get familiar with these things that are happening on a day-to-day basis with all of these changes, the first people to utilize this, the first people to learn and know about this are going to have a humongous advantage going forward. We're talking about this stuff all the time. We just had a beautiful call on Tuesday where people are talking about all of these new programs that are out there, and they're out there already. That's the crazy part. There's companies that are using them. There's companies that are reaching out to resellers. And now that we know these companies, we can partner with them to either tailor some sort of personalized software for our individual business or just be on the front line of this humongous change that guaranteed will happen. So I'm happy to invest this money, invest this time into the group and help people learn about AI, the software, the apps that are coming out that will revolutionize reselling. It is my duty, my obligation to try to inform and bring the most informational and educational videos that I can. And by doing that is coming on here and keep talking about this humongous change that is going to happen. And those that listen, great. Those that think that we're still going to continue to do this kind of business like we have always are going to go by the wayside. You're going to see more and more people fall by the wayside who do not get with the changing times, who refuse to pick up items that have desirability and velocity. The days of listing anything and having it sell are over. They're gone. You have to find a way to pick up the best items that you can pick up, optimize the titles, optimize the keywords, price them correctly, and rinse and repeat. You cannot throw up items because you got them for cheap. You cannot throw items that nobody wants, and no one wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear this, but like every single reseller loves to source until you tell them you have to get good items. And then nobody wants to source anymore. So cheap items that are not good, leave them behind. Items at the thrift store that are not good, leave them behind. Picking up bad items, picking up items that nobody wants, listing and forgetting is done. It's over. It's on life support. We see it right now. If you refuse to change, you will be gone. You will be out of business. The market is the market. You cannot defeat what's going to happen. The game has changed. Reselling is evolving. Reselling is getting better. Reselling is getting more business-like. It's being run by business owners. It's being operated by people who do their numbers, know their numbers, and are making informed, data-driven decisions. If you are not one of these people and you refuse to change with the times and your business is on life support, circle back to this video in 5 years, circle back to this video in 7 years, circle back to this video in 10 years, and let me know how you're doing. I hope this video was helpful. As always, be great. Thank you.